This is the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. We have assembled the world's finest sports and trivia dorks to prove once and for all that we are just as bad at this as we were at sports.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, sports trivia for those of us who rode the pine. I'm your host, David, and today's game will feature Benchwarmer Scott and first-time guest and equipment manager for our Patreon team, Josh Snyder, versus the team of Marcus and returning guest and assistant coach to our Patreon team, Drew Topp. All right, that's a lot of information there. So let's start with Josh, since it's your first time on a real full episode. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, team allegiances, anything else you want to share?
Sure, David. I'm excited to be here. I'm from Philly originally, but moved down to Baltimore 15 years ago. So naturally, I'm a Seahawks fan for my entire life. Go Hawks. And other than that, Sixers from the hometown, Orioles from here. And, why not the Kraken? Because Seattle, right? What else can I say? Just excited to play today.
That's awesome. Well, we're super happy to have you. So, Scott, why don't you tell us a little about yourself? No, never mind. Just give us a team name and tell us how the ankle is doing, maybe.
You don't want to know anything else. I'd love to give ankle updates, but literally nothing is happening. I'm just elevating it until my surgeon says otherwise. So I'm not in any pain. I feel good. I'm ready to move around again. I just can't. And I have this giant reminder that I can't do anything. So, but other than that, I'm good. I'm excited to team with Josh. We played in a fast break game against one another last month. So if you haven't listened to that yet, do so. And if you're not a patron and don't have access to it, become one so that you can listen to it, because it was a lot of fun. So I'm excited to team with him. What he buried in the lead there was that he went to high school with one Kobe Bryant, Lower Marion High School. And since I once shared the same basketball court as Jimmer Fredette within minutes of each other, we were in passing. So I like to think that he dribbled on some of my sweat. We decided for our team name that we would be Kobe and Jimmer.
Makes sense to me. All right, Drew, why don't you remind us who you are and what your team allegiances are?
Yeah. My name's Drew. I'm from the Midwest, from Indianapolis, Indiana. My affiliations, I go with the Cincinnati Reds, the Cincy Bengals, and the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Ooh.
Can't forget a strong article there. I'm also a former collegiate golfer, so I also stay up on the PGA Tour quite a bit.
Oh, really nice. Where'd you play?
Private D3 school over here in Indiana.
Nice.
Manchester. Nothing crazy.
Nice. That's very cool. And you still play a lot?
I do. I've got a couple of just generic amateur events coming up here in the next month.
Oh, wow.
Nothing too serious. I'm not expecting to win any type of money.
All right. Very cool. We're very happy to have you back. And Marcus, why don't you tell us how you're doing and give us a team name for you guys?
I'm doing great. I'm going to throw it back to Drew because he came up with the team name. I didn't admittedly have anything to do with this, so I'm going to toss it back.
Yeah, I've been chilling with my 2-year-old daughter for a while. She loves the TV show Bob's Burgers, and they're doing an episode where they're ripping on Rocky. He's like, it's not the eye of the tiger, it's the look of the lion.
Oh, that is tremendous. I didn't get the reference when you sent me the team name, but that is very good. I love it. All right.
I think H. John Benjamin could say anything and I would laugh. So it's good.
That's fair.
That's very awesome.
Drew, did you say you've been chilling with your daughter for a little bit? Would that be for 2 years, would you say? She's 2?
Well, no. The first year was
I didn't see her.
There were too many diapers, so I just popped in every now and again.
You were like you were like her like a passing friend. You were just like, hey, what's up? I'll talk to you we when you're cooler.
Once she hit 2 and Bob's Burgers was on the menu, then he was down.
Once she got her TV show, kind of taste figured out and got off the Caillou, we got right in.
straight from Caillou to Bob's Burgers. That should have been your team name. All right.
I don't get why that kid has no hair in Caillou. But,
that's right. And talks in a whiny voice all the time because he's Canadian. All right. No offense to our Canadian fans. All right. We've got our teams, Kobe and Jimmer versus the look of the lion. Let's get on with this. Let's kick it over to Dan for the rules.
The game will consist of 4 quarters of play, each with different trivia style. The styles of quarters 1 through 3 will change from show to show, and I will explain them as we go along. Like any good sporting event, we will have a halftime show after the second quarter with entertainment questions. And in the fourth quarter, our teams will wager from their points accumulated to see who are today's clipboard captains, to be honored like the true benchwarmers they are. All right, let's get this game underway.
Okay, sure that was informative for our newer players. So today's first quarter is going to be pre and post game.
Pre and post game. For this quarter, there will be 4 before and after style questions. For example, if I said, what all-time leader in receptions for the Indianapolis Colts was a Notre Dame safety drafted by the Minnesota Vikings, the answer would be Marvin Harrison Smith. Each question is worth 25 points.
Okay, question number 1 of pre and post game. Other than the Bulls, the only NBA team that placed 2 players on the 1992 Dream Team, and the player who was chosen for the cover of MLB 23, the show.
David, we're going to check in.
All right, Kobe and Jimmer have checked in. Look at the Lion. You guys can talk it out.
Well, I think we were about to check in. Drew was all over this. Go ahead and tell us what you had, Drew.
Yeah, so 92 Dream Team, only Jazz I would have thought of to be on the team would have been Stockton and Malone. And then play MLB The Show almost daily. So that'd be Jazz Chisholm from the Marlins.
Perfect.
Then I think we can go with the Utah Jazz Chisholm.
All right, and Kobe and Jimmer?
Yep, a little bit of a reverse engineer for me as well, because I remember Jazz Chisholm's the cover athlete for the show, so then it only made sense. So we also checked in with Utah Jazz Chisholm.
All right, and both teams are receiving points. Well done. Maybe someone could explain to me why Jazz Chisholm was chosen as the cover guy.
Because he's got swag, David.
Exactly. You wouldn't understand this.
He's got drip. He's got swag. He's bussing, as
all right.
The kids
he's
would
a
say.
Young, flashy athlete, David. A YCG. Something you don't know about.
I would have gotten that, but I got so mad playing the show yesterday that I rage quit. So I was just a little slow on that one. Playing Road to the Show is hard, and it makes me upset sometimes.
Now that's
I had to look up Jazz Chisholm on Urban Dictionary. I wasn't sure what it meant, but yeah.
Never ever go to Urban Dictionary as your source for anything. But yes,
gave him the old Jazz Chisholm.
All right. Question number 2 of pre and post game. We're already off the rails. One question in. Question number 2. The last Notre Dame quarterback selected in the first round of the NFL draft, and the school that won the most recent Frozen Four NCAA hockey championship.
David, we can check in.
All right. Kobe and Jimmer have checked in. Look at the Lion. You got 2 minutes.
Okay. So part of being on the show, Drew, is you just absorb information. And what's disgusting, the thing that disturbs me the most is I think I thought of the school first.
You got the school first on this one?
Yeah, and I was like, oh, who's good at hockey? It makes me sad that like this is my life now, is that I went, who's good at hockey? And the first thing that popped up to me is Quinnipiac. Quinnipiac, is that how you say it?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, and then with Brady Quinn. There you go.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think, because I think Deshaun Kaiser was the second round.
Yep, and then I was looking like Jimmy Clausen even.
Oh gosh, but he was even before that. Remember, Mel Kiper said he would quit if Jimmy Clausen wasn't good. He's still there. He's still there. Unfortunately. Yeah. So, are you good with Brady?
I am.
Quinnipiac.
I do like that. I was thinking about that.
All right, we're gonna check in with that, David.
All right, and Kobe and Jimmer.
Yeah, another one of the Browns' amazing picks in the first round. Brady Quinnipiac is right.
That's perfect. And Marcus gave the perfect rundown. It has been a while since a first-round quarterback from Notre Dame. All right, let's move quickly on to question number 3 of pre and post game. Mike Gundy, 3-word phrase famously said at a press conference right before I'm 40, and the Brazilian who was the first woman to become a 2-division UFC champion.
All right, David, we're checked in.
All right, Kobe and Jimmer have checked in again. Look at the Lion. Time to talk it out.
So, obviously, it's the I'm a man. I'm 40.
Wait, really get into it, Drew. I want you to give your best Mike Gundy right here. Just I'm a man, I'm 40. Just ready, go.
I can't pull off the mullet.
It's an audio medium. We just need your Mike Gundyist. I'm a man, I'm 40.
I'm a man, I'm 40.
Hey, that's pretty good, actually.
See,
well
that
done.
was good.
Yeah, that was good.
That was good. And UFC
I think it's
is
Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. She's just recently retired. So, yep.
Didn't catch that, but yeah.
Yeah, she won another. Here, let's here, we'll finish this first. David, we'll check in with I'm Amanda Nunes.
Very nice. All right, that's what I was hoping to hear. Okay, Kobe and Jimmer.
Yeah, same thing here. Got it right away. I mean, it only makes there could only be one fighter after Mike Gundy. So we also checked in with I'm Amanda Nunes.
Well done. Both teams are receiving points. Nothing to add to that. I'm not going to provide my own imitation to try to top you guys.
Yeah, but she won her title defense. I can't even remember who it was that she beat, but yep, put her gloves down in the middle of the octagon, which is the move to do when you're an MMA fighter. So yep, she's retiring on top as a double champ. So
it's awesome. Yeah, good for her. All right, question number 4. Major league pitcher who in 2002 became the first active major leaguer to die during the season since Thurman Munson. And besides Mike Ditka, the only rookie tight end to have more than 1,000 receiving yards in a season. By far the hardest one, by the way.
And dark.
David, we're going to check in.
All right, Kobe and Jimmer have checked in. The look of the lion. Talk it out.
Okay. I feel like, oh man, rookie tight end. Tight end is so difficult to have a great year off the bat. How confident do you feel about Kittle?
I remember he came out with an absolute bang, but obviously there's been an absolute slew of tight ends in between them that could have had a random pop off for that one.
Well, there's that, and then like some of the guys in the past actually did have some pretty big years. Like you think of guys like Winslow and Newsome, and so I think do you have anything on this 2002?
Well,
yeah, and then I was thinking of Tyler Skaggs, but that was recent.
Yeah, and then there was that one rookie for the Cubs that got hit in the back of the head, and then but I don't think he ended up dying. I think he ended up just, and I don't want to be the cause of that one.
Yeah, the 1,000-yard thing is interesting because it's a rookie tight end. I don't know if it's.
All right,
this is tough.
I'm gonna need an answer. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, really? We didn't even get. Oh, wow. All right. I don't really have. So whose last name is George besides Paul George or Boy George?
I think like 2002, and he was active at the time.
Yeah, I just don't remember this. I don't know why, and it's preventing us from getting the other half.
Yeah, because obviously there's a lot of names that could work. Like
yeah, let's
Jeremy could be a last name with Jeremy Shockey.
Let's say, let's say Boy.
It was a
George
horrible
Kittle.
pitching injury for Ron Jeremy.
For lack of nothing better, we'll check in with Boy George Kittle.
Which, by the way, is going to be a phenomenal graphic. All right, yeah. Okay, and Kobe and Jimmer.
Yeah, this was definitely a team effort. I had the first part, and then Josh sent over the second part. I remember this happening in 2002. He was a pretty well-known name. It wasn't like a bottom of the roster guy. And this was a little bit before Corey Lytle, which I think was the next guy after him. But this was Darryl Kyle. So I remember when that happened, and once I typed that to Josh, he said Kyle Brady. And I do remember him having that big rookie season. So we checked in with Darryl Kyle Brady.
Oh, man. Neither team is receiving points.
There's no chance Kyle Brady had 1,000 yards.
I was absolutely convinced you had this because Darryl Kyle was the hard part. The other half, the correct answer you were looking for is Darryl Kyle Pitts.
Oh, Kyle Pitts. Makes sense.
I was thinking Kyle Rudolph.
No, that
There's
also
a lot of
good.
Kyles out there.
There are. But Kyle Pitts was the first rookie since Mike Ditka to have 1,000 receiving yards.
I
for
forget
the
he had
Falcons.
1,000 because
I even forgot his first name was Kyle. Like I didn't.
And fair enough. Well, remember, there's like nobody else. There was nobody else to throw to on that team. So yeah.
Well, I forgot they actually threw the football. That's why.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they know to
Wow,
throw it.
Because they didn't last year.
I got stuck on that Brady Bunch commercial with Kyle Brady and Tom Brady back from whenever.
I forgot about that.
When you said Kyle Brady, I was like, I will eat my own shoe if Kyle Brady has 1,000 yards.
You're gonna pull a Mel Kiper, and
No. Sorry, Scott. I led you astray there.
I wouldn't have remembered Kyle Pitts.
Let me tell you something. Kyle Brady did not have 1,000 yards.
Todd.
I don't know. Was that good? That felt weird.
Yeah,
That was pretty good.
we appreciate that you're working up to them all. I think that's good.
If Mel Kiper was black, yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah, nice. All right.
It was Melvin.
Not so
You
much.
need the hair to get the right resonance.
That's
like the whole
right.
thing
That's
he's got
tough.
going on.
Nobody's got that. That's got to be a piece
Black.
of it. So after the first quarter, we have a barn burner so far. So we are at Kobe and Jimmer with 75 points, and the look of the Lion also with 75 points.
We wanted to let you know that we are on Patreon if you'd be interested in supporting us financially. Your contributions will be used to help us cover the costs that it takes to bring you the high-quality sports trivia that you have come to expect from us. There are also some great perks that come with the Patreon membership to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, including bonus episodes and Benchwarmer swag. You can find us at patreon.com/benchwarmerstp. Thanks.
So that will move us on to the second quarter, which will be Flop, Turn, and River.
Flop, Turn, and River. For this quarter, there will be 3 questions consisting of 5 clues. The first 3 clues will be given before the teams decide if they want to check in with their guess. The last 2 clues will be given one at a time, with teams deciding if they want to check in with their guess after each subsequent clue. If a correct answer is checked in after the first 3 clues, the team will receive 50 points. After the 4th clue, 30, and after the 5th clue, 20.
Question number 1 of our Flop, Turn, and River. Who am I? Clue 1. I was drafted in the first round by the Minnesota Twins, but decided to return to my senior year of college. Clue 2. I attended college with 2 future big league teammates, and I'm the only baseball player to have my number retired by Georgia Tech. And clue number 3. I'm the only person to have played in the Little League World Series, College World Series, MLB World Series, the Olympics, and the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, we're all going to take the next clue.
Yeah.
Well, Kobe and Jim are going to take another clue. Look at the Lion. You guys are also going to take another clue.
Okay, so now that they're I'm just kidding. Yeah, we're in the same boat.
Now that these Clydes are out of the way. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so our turn clue. I am one of 2 catchers, along with Carlos Ruiz, to have caught 4 Major League Baseball no-hitters.
I don't think we're anywhere near it. We probably need to take the last clue.
All right. Kobe and Jim have decided to take the last clue. Look at the Lion.
What do you think about the last thing I said? It's more of I'm more going at it from the last clue, the no-hitters thing.
I'm trying to think back because now I'm trying to piece together with what pitchers would have thrown it.
Right. How much time do we need to make a decision, David?
You do. That would be great.
Okay. Do you feel good enough about that to take one, or do you just want to get the last clue? I mean, they're also taking the last clue, so it's not the worst thing in the world.
I mean, yeah, it's a tie ball game, so I feel like we'd take the last clue and maybe risk a little later.
Okay. Sounds good. We will take another one, David.
All right. Our last clue. Though several wanted to, I'm the only player to hit A-Rod in the face during a game.
Oh, we can check in.
Yep.
All right. And okay, so look at the line is checked in. Kobe and Jimmer. You guys want to talk this out?
I didn't, for some reason, Jason Varitek wasn't, I didn't expect it to be him for whatever reason, but it seems like it is.
Yeah.
And I'll say this for you and Marcus, Mariners organization legend, Jason Varitek.
Look at the Lion. What have you got?
Yep. Drew and I were talking about Russell Martin, Joe Mauer was the name that was thrown out. And then I was like thinking about a pitcher or a catcher who would have played with enough pitchers that have thrown no-hitters. And I said, what about Varitek? And I guess I should have known because I guess I know I had a Varitek rookie card at some point, but it just didn't stick. So, yep, that's why we took the extra clue. And here we are with, Jason Varitek.
All right.
David, did he catch Clay Buchholz's? I
Nice.
know you were about to name.
Yes. So both teams are receiving points. And Jason Varitek, as I mentioned, he caught 4 no-hitters. It was actually Derek Lowe, John Lester, Clay Buchholz, and Hideo Nomo, amazingly. And also, I guess maybe this is a know your host thing. I try to keep away from these, but since I'm a Red Sox fan, he played at Georgia Tech with Nomar Garciaparra, Noma, and Jay Payton, who played for the Red Sox for a while. And at one point, the 3 of them were together on the Red Sox, just like they were on Georgia Tech. So
and for some extra, David, do you remember who Varitek and Derek Lowe and others were traded for?
I do, because I used them on the grid yesterday.
That would be Heathcliff Slocum. Yes, it was awful.
We can't have Lou Pinella's nephew closing games anymore because he sucks. Let's trade the farm for Heathcliff Slocum.
Yeah,
it was Mariners and Red Sox on the grid, and I was like, oh, I know who that is.
Phillies legend Heathcliff Slocum, who at one point during the '93 World Series had an infinity ERA.
Wow, that's impressive.
ERA, yeah,
that's impressive. Question number 2 of Flop Turn and River, also a Who Am I? Clue number 1. I was a consensus All-American nose tackle in both my junior and senior seasons in college. Clue number 2. I finished 9th in the Heisman Trophy voting during my junior year, the top vote getter amongst defensive players. Clue number 3. I was drafted by the Cleveland Browns of the NFL, but would go on to play in both the USFL and the CFL.
We're going to take another clue.
All right. So Kobe and Jimmer have decided to take another clue. The look of the lion. You guys want to talk for a minute or so before you decide what you're going to do?
Well, that depends, Drew. How much do you trust me?
Well, we didn't trust you the last time, so I feel like that we go for it this time then.
Okay, because this is going to be my one. I'm going to put my foot down, and I think I feel good about it. So we are going to check in.
I love it.
All right. Well, the look of the lion has checked in. Kobe and Jimmer are going to get the second clue. I am the first Black man to be a world champion in the sport for which I am most famous.
Oh, is this Ron Simmons? I am the first Black man to be a world champion in the sport which I'm most famous. To me, that's Ron Simmons, because he's the first Black world heavyweight champion back in WCW, and he did play football. He was a defensive lineman.
Dan, I think we made the right decision. Go ahead and check it in, Scott.
All right, we're going to go ahead and check in with Ron Simmons. Bam!
All right. And after the first set of clues, the look of the lion checked in. What did you guys have?
Drew, thank you for trusting me. I typed to Drew. I said, I think David's trying to sneak in a wrestling question. And there's Ron Simmons was so good at football, and but he was undersized, so decided to play in the CFL, and then he won the world title in WCW. And I was thinking that was the next clue, possibly, or maybe the 5th clue. But yeah, we checked in with Ron Simmons.
David, right. Please tell me the 5th clue is just damn.
It was going to be, but I decided to go a little bit deeper. All I said was, in my career, I wrestled as Farouk in the Nation of Domination and as part of Doom. And then I threw in the damn. So exactly. Can't quite do it like you can. Yeah. So Ron Simmons, so there's points all the way around. Ron Simmons played in for the 1984 Tampa Bay Bandits, which you guys would not remember. But among his teammates were Nate Newton, Gary Anderson. I don't know if you remember the longtime kicker, Gary Anderson, and Lex Luger. So there you go.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Did you ask if we knew Gary Anderson? I think some of this podcast might know about Gary Anderson.
They might.
Nerds.
Also, David, are you saying that there were 2 WCW world champions on the Tampa Bay Bandits in 1984?
It's true. That's a good point. Yes. All right. Question number 3. Who am I? The flop. I was elected to the Hall of Fame in 2003. Clue number 2. I was the first Hall of Famer to have my number retired by the team for which I started and ended my career. And clue number 3. As a 7-year-old, I was a national champion in the punt, pass, and kick contest in the first year the competition was held. What's the there sounds like some like spaceship noises. Is that
okay. This is the podcast first. Someone's being abducted by aliens during a recording.
Not a first.
They can probe me.
Right. Marcus is going to the memory probe. I'm totally fine going for another one here. I mean, I feel like we're just trying to rise to David's bait in terms of this challenge.
All right. Yes. We'll take another clue.
All right. Kobe and Jimmer have decided to take another clue. The look of the lion. Let's get a decision in about 30 seconds of what you're going to do.
Yeah, we're going to take another clue as well.
All right. Clue number 4, the turn. I was an 11-time All-Star, and though I was primarily known as a catcher, I was a defensive substitution in right field in the 1975 All-Star game.
We're going to check in.
All right, Kobe and Jimmer have checked in. Look at the Lion. About a minute and a half to decide what you're going to do.
Okay, so they've checked in so we can talk.
Okay.
Yeah, so 11 times is a lot. I mean, Johnny Bench went to a lot. You said
Yeah, he
Carlton
was
Fisk.
perennial. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of anyone in that rough time frame. My time frames, anything pre-90s is, I mean, the 1950s and 1980s could be 2 years apart for me.
Right. 2003, though? When
That's
do you
what
think
makes
Johnny
me-
Bench retired?
Do you think he got to the 90 World Series
That seems
late?
No, I don't think so. Maybe because I know he was. I don't know if he was on the roster, but he might have been in his system. In their system, I think Dan Wilson was in the system then in Cincinnati before he became a Mariners legend. So that's what's throwing me is like, would it have taken Johnny Bench until 2003 to get elected? Probably not.
That's what's
Right?
killing me. I feel like
That's a
75
long
has to be
time.
beginning of career type move.
Yeah,
Because for the career to have to go in the
span
75
from
and then
75 to
98 roughly 97
he
somewhere in that
played for
range.
23 years.
That's what I'm trying. Like, he has to be someone who is like blacklisted a little bit, like where people just wouldn't vote for him. 'Cause that's
Yeah,
a
could
traditional
be that.
baseball thing now.
Right. I don't know enough. I don't have enough in this era to grab onto something.
I'm with you on this one. I mean,
Yeah.
it could be either the one we said. It could be neither of them. I don't have
Okay.
anything firm to grasp on this one.
You want to just take the fifth one, call it?
Yeah.
I'd rather try and get it right than not at all.
I'm down for that.
All right. We'll take the last clue, David.
All right. The river, just for you guys. I was nicknamed the Kid and was the cleanup hitter for the 1986 New York Mets.
I have no idea who played catcher for the Mets in 1986. Like, nicknamed the Kid? I don't know.
I mean, a lot of nicknames, especially like the Kid. I mean, it seems like it's got to be something that rhymes. So, do we think?
Ken Griffey Jr. was nicknamed the Kid for a long time. That's who I think of when I think of the Kid. I think of
the
Ken Griffey Jr.
same. That's the same. That's why I went right there. Yeah. I think it was Mike Piazza for any reason.
No, that's not. I wish it was.
That's like I was like I'm trying to think of any Mets
trying
catcher
to think
that's not like.
I'm just trying to think of catchers in like that era.
Because the 75 is now throwing me too.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Travis d'Arnaud.
That's what I'm trying to think of anyone before d'Arnaud. You know,
I
like Paul DeLuca.
I don't know, man. I don't have anything. This is just nothing to me. It means nothing.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. So we're
So let's throw out a lucky name. Let's we have Williams, we have Jackson, we have Davis, we have
I like Davis for a nice 80s Mets name.
Yeah. Definitely last name Davis, definitely not Crash Davis, but definitely a Davis is what we're going to check in with.
Kobe and Jimmer, what you got?
After clue 4, so I thought of 3 names from 1975 catcher in the All-Star game. And it was 2 they had Johnny Bench and Carlton Fisk, and then it was this guy. And we were trying to think of franchise-wise who would be the first guy to be inducted for that franchise. And so we didn't feel comfortable with Fisk or Bench because we felt like those teams would have other Hall of Famers. And then
I think it was retired numbers, not Hall of Famers.
Oh yeah,
right?
sorry, retired. Yeah, retired numbers. Like they would definitely have retired numbers. And so then after clue 4, what made sense was what we came up with, and we checked in with Gary Carter.
One team is receiving points. I feel bad. I tried to write my fifth one as a sort of a giveaway so that everybody gets it by the river. Yeah, Johnny Bench had a phenomenal career. I mean, arguably the best career ever for a catcher. He was he was not only not on the 90 Reds, he was already in the Hall of Fame. He probably retired in the mid 90s
Yeah.
and was probably in the world, it's probably in the Hall of Fame by 89, I want to say, something like that, because Joe Morgan was probably around 90. So anyway, yes, it is Gary Carter. That is correct. And he was actually not the first Expo to have their jersey retired. It was actually Rusty Staub, but he was the first Hall of Famer to have their jersey retired. And he did one of those things at the end of his career after he went to the Mets. He won the World Series and he went back to like play a half a season and retired and whatever. And they probably retired his jersey then and all that. So anyway, I apologize to the look of the line.
You don't have to. I don't know a thing about Gary Carter. He's nothing. It's I've have a lot of space in my brain, David, for a lot of stupid stuff, and Gary Carter is just nowhere in there.
I think he was a former president, wasn't he?
So after the second quarter, we still have a very close game. Kobe and Jimmer has pulled out to a slight lead with 155 points. The look of the line is right on their tails with 145 points. And that will bring us to halftime.
It is now time for the halftime show. There will be 3 entertainment questions pertaining to sports, with each question worth 25 points.
All right. Since we had so much fun with the pre and post game, we're going to do this is regular pre and post game, except that half of each of these clues is going to be a past or present ESPN sports anchor. And for that person, the only thing I'm going to tell you is one of their catchphrases. So, for example, if I said to you, the only player to win 4 most outstanding player awards in the Final Four and cool like the other side of the pillow, you would say Breanna Stewart-Scott. Make sense? Not so hard.
Yeah.
You couldn't have given us that one?
Question number 1. You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. And the first Kansas City Chief to be featured on the cover of Madden.
All right, we're checked in.
All right. Kobe and Jimmer have checked in. Look at the lion. Time to talk this out.
It's definitely Patrick Mahomes. So I believe the first half would have to be Dan Patrick.
No other Chiefs got on there before then?
No, because Joe Montana had his own game.
Yeah, I was thinking even like Larry Johnson or Priest Holmes because they had those big years.
No, because Priest Holmes was getting beat out by, well, shout out because he's a hero, but Peyton Hillis. He was losing out to like Peyton Hillis and Marshall Faulk,
Jamal Lewis, some of these other guys that were on random ones.
Right. So I'm fairly positive it'd be Dan Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Okay. That's what we're checking in with.
All right. And Kobe and Jimmer?
Yeah, I quickly in my head went through the Madden covers and there's no other Chief. So I had to be Mahomes. So it just made sense. Dan Patrick Mahomes.
Both teams are receiving points. I had actually written this one as a question about Patrick Kane, but when Ede wasn't on, I lifted my hockey questions.
Oh, boo.
Or most of my hockey questions anyway. Yeah. All right.
Oh, good.
Question number 2. Well, except for this hockey question. Goalie for the arguably most famous sports team in U.S. history and Jumanji.
David, we would like to check in.
I'm sure you would. Okay. Look at the line is checked in. Kobe and Jimmer. We'll give you about 30 seconds to talk this out if you need it.
We have no idea. So I decided, what if we just go twofer and we name 2 ESPN anchors and it gives us a better chance. So we have Brian Kenny Mayne. We have Stuart Scott Van Pelt. And then we decided to go with an ESPN guy and an NFL Network guy. So we're going to check in with John Butcher Gross Tucker.
That's pretty impressive. Okay. Sadly, yes, there will be no points. But the look of the line, you want to tell us the right answer?
Probably not, honestly. Okay. Drew was clutch on the first part because I was struggling, trying to figure out who the goalie was. And he said Jimmy, and I said, "Oh my gosh, I think it's Jim Craig." And then sat there, and we've just been talking about Craigs that we know that are hosts. So we're checking in. We're checking in with Jim Craig Kilborn for no reason other than that's a person who hosts stuff.
One team will be receiving points.
Not us.
The correct answer is Jim Craig Kilborn.
Are you being serious?
Yes. Did you wait? Which part are you surprised by? The fact that he was an ESPN host, or the
Yes, I didn't know Craig. I know Craig Kilborn from being in
like the Daily Show,
Old School, and the Daily Show, and
as
did
a
he have his own
comedian.
late night show?
Yeah,
Yeah, he did.
So
But he was on ESPN.
I have lost track of time. He must have been on ESPN in the 90s. I'm trying to remember now because I don't have good. I mean, I know the early guys, and I know the most recent guys. He was on ESPN.
Early 90s, you're right.
Yeah, early 90s. Wow. Well,
No
done.
idea. I had no idea.
That is impressive.
Jim Craig, such a white name. Jim Craig.
Well, at least you had the right team. You knew which team it was. Yeah, Jim Craig was the famous goal. If you watch Miracle the movie, or if you go back and watch, I mean, Jim Craig was on back in the day. He was on like every kid's wall. He and Aruzioni were like the heroes of that team.
You can never trust somebody with two first names.
No, never. And every guy with last name Craig has two first names: Roger Craig, Jim Craig, Alan Craig. Like, what's up with this?
You know
I don't
what?
trust any of them
Because their last name's Craig.
Here's what I have to say.
Parker Craig.
Here's what I have to say. The best thing about people with two first names is they make it really easy to write pre and post games. All right. So just back it off, my friends. All right. Question number 3. Sitcom on Hulu that takes place in rural Ontario, partially revolving around a small town hockey team. And I am amused by the simplicity of this game. Or if you prefer, he's leaving. That's more beer for us.
We can check it in, David.
All right. Kobe and Jimmer have almost immediately checked in. That leaves the look of the lion.
I think we can shout out to Scott on this one for helping out a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. I knew it was Letterkenny right off the bat, and then you mentioned Kenny Mayne for us, so that was an easy callback.
You're double welcome because I'm also the purveyor of Hulu on this podcast.
That's true.
Seattle legend Kenny Mayne.
What? What's that?
Oh, Kenny Mayne's a huge Seattle sports fan. Massive.
Okay.
I think he lives up here. I don't know for sure if he actually does still, but yeah, he's a huge Seattle sports guy. So yeah.
All right. So did you give me your answer? You did, right?
Yep. Letterkenny, Maine.
All right. Both teams are receiving points. Yeah. Well done. I wanted to work in a Letterkenny answer, so I wrote the entire halftime around getting in Letterkenny, Maine. So
did you get our answer?
You did. You said it, didn't you?
You referred to having given it, but yeah, it's Letterkenny, Maine. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I figured as much. You guys checked in so fast. Maybe that'd be the best bluff ever, is if you check in so fast to fool the host, and then he turns out you have no idea.
And David's like, all right, both teams getting their point.
All right, exactly. All right. Well, after halftime, we have a lead change. The look of the lion has now surged out to the lead with 220 points, and Kobe and Jimmer is still very close behind at 205. Now on to the second half.
We'd like to take a minute to invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at BenchwarmersTP. We also have a Facebook group for fans of the pod called The Bench. Join us there to comment on the latest episodes and share cool sports facts and trivia. If you'd be willing to rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher, we'd greatly appreciate the support so that other people may find this podcast. Thanks.
Today's third quarter will be 5-on-3.
5-on-3. For this quarter, there will be 3 categorized lists containing 5 items, where each item is worth 10 points. The teams will attempt to guess as many items as they can. However, if a team has an incorrect guess, they will receive 0 points for that list.
All right. List number 1 of 5-on-3. I'm looking for the 5 NHL teams that have won a Stanley Cup in their current location, but never won one in their former location.
We're going to check in.
All right. The look of the lion has checked in, and Kobe and Jimmer now have 2 minutes to tell me what they're going to do.
All right,
I just want to, well, I mean, you know what we're going to do. We're going to check in eventually, but I got one. I just want to put that out there. I got Dallas Stars.
You did. And we got the Carolina Hurricanes, who used to be the Hartford Whalers, and
Wahoo, Whalers.
And the New Jersey Devils, who used to be the Colorado Rockies, which leads me to another one, which is the Avalanche, who used to be the Quebec Nordiques.
Right, so that's 4.
So the other one is the Calgary Flames, who used to be in Atlanta. Got him.
There it is. Check it in.
All right.
You get those, David?
I did. And
you did because they're the right 5. Okay, good.
I didn't say that. I just said you checked in 5. Kobe and Jimmer have checked in with 5 answers. And the look of the line, what did you guys have?
Yeah, we were talking. I was like, I remember Calgary came from Atlanta, so I was like, I feel like I was just going purely off of franchise I knew had moved. So we went with Calgary. I remember the Dallas Stars as well. And then Marcus came up with the Avalanche coming from the Nordiques. And then right after we checked in, I thought of Carolina. But we only went with the Flames, Stars, and Avalanche for those 3.
Both teams are receiving points. Well done, especially to Kobe and Jimmer for pulling all 5.
Just Kobe.
Just Kobe. Right. Well
Mamba
done.
out.
I think Josh pretty much has. Yeah.
The white Mamba.
Now it just got dark between Darryl Kyle and Kobe Bryant. All right. So yes. So both teams are receiving points. The correct answers were the Avalanche, who were formerly the Quebec Nordiques, the Stars, who were obviously the Dallas North Stars, the Hurricanes, who were formerly the Hartford Whalers, Calgary Flames, formerly Atlanta, and the New Jersey Devils, who were formerly the Colorado Rockies. Well done. Well done. List number 2. The players who have had 5 or more consecutive 40 home run seasons since 1990.
Fine, we're going to check in.
All right. Kobe and Jimmer have checked in. Look at the line. You have about another minute.
Yes. You came with Sammy Sosa right away. I agree. A-Rod for sure.
Yeah.
And then I said I'm almost positive my Lord and Savior George Kenneth Griffey Jr. also did it. And like you said,
it just scared me a lot.
Yeah, no, but it was the years after the injury, and then I'm fairly certain his first year in Cincinnati he hit 40. So I think it's a mix of the two. Hamilton and Stanton are both, Gary, to me, from that injury front too. Do you have how strongly do you feel about?
I said I know Stanton's hit like 40 plus in damn near every season he's played in.
Yeah, but it's the consecutive part.
Yeah, that's what scares me because he had that fractured face from that Mike Fiers fastball.
Ugh, gosh. I can't think of a thing that I would want less to happen to me on a sports field. I'd rather have get Joe Theismann or Alex Smith than take
I had that happen on a baseball field. It's not fun.
Yeah, get tagged in the face. No.
Yeah, I caught a liner. It wasn't fun.
Ugh. Okay. Oh, and we also decided that, Barry Bonds. What are we even talking about? Sosa, Bonds, Griffey, A-Rod is what we have.
Yeah, because, I mean, with it being post-1990, the fifth guy is going to end up being somebody crazy like Adam Dunn, Joey Gallo, somebody who just hits absolute tanks, but, you forget about him in the translation there.
Yeah.
Even like Chris
Adam
Davis.
Dunn, I kind of like Adam Dunn. I hate that he's been on so many teams because it's hard for me to really pinpoint it. And White Sox, right.
And then everybody else. I mean,
White Sox, Reds.
I was even thinking like for stadium bias with Todd Helton.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
He's gonna get an extra 6 or 7 a year just from the altitude.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you want to go with the 4? If we're gonna go with the 5th one, I would feel comfortable about Dunn more than the others, but I'm definitely good with the 4.
I think we go with just the 4 on this one. I mean, Dunn was more of an afterthought.
Okay. All right. We'll check in with George Kenneth Griffey Jr., Alex Rodriguez, Barry Bonds, and Sammy Sosa.
And Kobe and Jimmer, what did you guys have?
We wanted to play it a little bit safe here, and we just went with A-Royd, as you say. I mean, I can't put roids into the other two's names, but same deal, right? Bonds and Sosa. So we just went with 3.
All right. Well, both teams are receiving points. Your correct answers are A-Rod, Sosa, Barry Bonds, Ken Griffey, and Adam Dunn.
Oh,
yeah. As soon as Drew said it, I was like, damn, I think it is Adam Dunn.
I'm going to give you a little David Lux Know Your Host. He comes up for me so many times when I go research stupid stats things. He has so many stupid stats that make absolutely no sense. So anyway,
there's an entire YouTube video of just his unrealistic stats. Like,
hey, that's a good pull though. I felt good about it too. I was like, if you would have been willing to do it, I was totally ready to do it because yes, he just hits so many. He's the true 2 outcome player on the good side.
Yeah. And
really,
quickly, by the way, I just want to tell you, I'm pretty sure that neither Stanton, if you were talking about Josh Hamilton, neither Stanton nor Hamilton probably did this more than once, maybe twice.
Stanton gets hurt too much.
Yeah, he gets hurt way too much. All right. Our final list. Since the NBA started counting blocks and steals as official stats in 73-74, which, by the way, was the year after Wilt retired, Dave Cowens was the first player to lead his team in all 5 major statistical categories in the same season: points, rebounds, assists, blocks, and steals. I want you to tell me the other 5 players who have done it since.
Oh.
We're going to check in, David.
All right. Kobe and Jimmer have checked in. About a minute left for a look at the Lion. Decide what you're going to do.
Okay, Drew, we can talk it out. I mean, I think we're pretty close to logging in. It's whether we want to do a 5th or not.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
5th?
really greedy, especially when David said
He
this
said
is
it's the
hard.
toughest
Like,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be some random dude in 1987 for no reason.
So, yeah, I would feel, and especially because he was a true center, I think maybe keeping Olajuwon out is probably smart. Even though during
Yes.
94, 95, he did everything. I mean,
I
and
know, but he had Kenny
every
Smith, and Kenny Smith was a pass first point.
yeah. It just, let's leave him off. So I like Jokic and James and Giannis for sure. And then, like I said, I think the sneaky one, like we both were on to, is Scottie Pippen when Jordan was gone.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be the sneaky 4th there, just because he only had like that real brief stint to have that happen.
Right. So you good with the 4 then?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. And
Okay.
Olajuwon, I think we just go with the 4.
Yeah. Okay. So David, we're checking in with Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, LeBron, and Scottie Pippen.
Okay. And Kobe and Jimmer, what did you guys have?
Oh, Scottie Pippen's such a good shout. I wish we would have thought of him. That's such a good one. We thought of his teammate. So we said Michael Jordan. We said LeBron James probably on those early Cavs teams. And then our third one that we checked in with is Kevin Garnett.
So one team is receiving points. I will tell you amazingly, and the reason I find this question so difficult is that there just seems to be a lot to choose from and very little to hold on to. I will tell you that only one team is receiving points, and that between the 2 teams, you covered all 5 correct answers. So here are the answers in reverse chronological order. Jokic in 21-22, Giannis in 16-17. LeBron James actually did it twice. Kevin Garnett in 02-03, and Scottie Pippen in 94-95.
Yes. I'm glad I got KG because
As soon as you said KG, like sparks, I was like, "Yep, that's 100%." It scared me a lot.
Oh man,
I am so impressed you pulled Scottie Pippen. Like I said, it's not like these guys are all Hall of Famers. It's not like it's hard that way. It's hard just because it's like, where do you go with this? But when I saw this
threw
list,
out Westbrook and Oscar, well, I guess Robertson wouldn't have counted.
Would have been too far back,
too early.
He would have been. That's why I was framing it up with since Dave Cowens did it first.
I mean, we threw out Fat Lever because it's Fat Lever.
Hey, and shout out to Drew because he talked me into Jokic. I didn't want to take Jokic because I was like, I could see Aaron Gordon leading in blocks or something, or
Jamal Murray and steals.
or the fact, Jamal Murray something. And so good, nice
I just
work.
remember, like, Aaron Gordon is like your prime wing defender to let MPJ just be garbage.
Seattle High School legend Michael Porter Jr.
Dante Porter. Michael Porter.
Great. Perfect. All right. After the third quarter, we have a bit of a widening gap. Thanks to that question. The Look of the Lion now has 330 points, and Kobe and Jimmer still very much in it with 285 points. That will bring us to the fourth quarter.
The fourth quarter, known as Put Your Fours Up. This quarter consists of 4 categorized questions that teams will wager up to 100 points each, not to exceed their current point total.
Here we go. The questions for the fourth quarter are categories. Question 1, excellent. Question 2, good. Question 3, fair. And question 4, bad. So excellent will pertain to 40-40 players in MLB. Good pertains to NFL drafts. Fair pertains to NBA All-Stars, and bad pertains to NFL history. It's now time for the teams to place their wagers. Now that the wagers are in, on to the questions. Question number 1 of the fourth quarter. Category is excellent. On Sunday, June 18th, in his 200th career game, Julio Rodriguez, Mariners 2B legend, became the second fastest player since 1900 to reach 40 home runs and 40 stolen bases for his career. What active National League player was the fastest to 40 home runs and 40 stolen bases in his career, which he did in only 185 games? Hint, he's never had more than 25 steals in a season.
We're going to check in.
The look of the Lion has checked in. Kobe and Jimmer, you have about a minute to talk this out.
All right.
My initial thoughts were that it's someone on the Padres now, right? Soto, Tatis Jr., Machado, but you don't think it's Manny, and I'll defer to you on.
Yeah, I just don't think he hit for power that early.
Yeah, Soto
that often.
Soto makes a lot of sense. He came up, he was really good, especially with the power right from the start, and he's not a big steals guy. But
nobody is right now, right? So, but Harper.
Well, that is not true. There are like several guys with 35 or more steals right now, and it's amazing to see because steals are kind of back.
So I'd say Soto over Bryce Harper that you mentioned before.
Yeah, Harper
Lindor
with the steals.
So Francisco Lindor, you mentioned, is another one that's a possibility, and I just don't know enough about his career.
Power. I think his power kind of came a little bit after, though. Not right away.
Yeah.
I think with Lindor.
Right. And then Tatis was your other question mark. So I think Tatis or Soto, either one of them could possibly be it.
Yeah. Again, this could also even just be someone we haven't, this could be Charlie Blackmon. You know what I mean?
Right.
This
could be Jazz Chisholm.
Honestly, it could be Jazz Chisholm, but it's probably not based on the
having come up earlier in the game. Where's your gut, Scott? You've done
I'm probably between the two Padres guys, and I really don't know which one I feel better about.
Yeah, I felt Soto maybe.
With the steals, I feel better about Tatis. But Soto, I think power-wise, I feel maybe the same.
Yeah, so then Tatis, you're kind of leaning Tatis then, right?
I am leaning Tatis, just with the steals. And it makes sense he wouldn't have more than 20 a season because he has been hurt. He hasn't really played
and then he got suspended.
That's what I mean. He hasn't really played a full season. So that would also make sense that he wouldn't have more than 25 in a particular season.
That does make sense. Okay. So I'm good there. Yeah.
All right, David, we are going to check in with Fernando Tatis Jr. for 80 points.
All right. And the look of the Lion, what did you guys have?
Well, I feel bad because I threw Drew under the bus because I just sat there for a while because I knew this immediately. Because I watch every Mariners game. And when your team is barely floating at 500 and you're just wondering why they constructed the team this way, and you got a lot to think about. And when they do have milestones, they talk about them. So, I just knew it because of this. And it was very frustrating to hear you guys seemingly leading towards Juan Soto and then effing U-turning and sliding into Fernando Tatis Jr. And that is what we checked in with for 100 points.
Both teams are receiving points, well broken down by the Kobe and Jimmer team, and way to pay attention to your Mariners broadcast by the look of the Lion. Yeah, so I mean, you guys pretty much nailed it. I mean, Tatis, he came up and he had sort of a typical rookie season. He was 22-16. Then the next year he was 11-11. But that was not the strike zone year. That was the COVID year, right? Yeah. The year after that, he had 42 home runs, and that's what put him over the top, and 25 steals. So he actually didn't get there until his third season, but in total number of games in aggregate, he was at 185 games. So yeah, and I specifically put in the hint about never having more than 25 steals because I was afraid that the obvious guess would be Acuna.
No, well, that's who I was like, he has 35 steals right now. So.
Who, by the way, as of tonight, we are not quite at the halfway point of the season, and Acuna is at 1937. It is unbelievable what kind of pace this guy is on. I mean, he could do 40-60 and it would not be crazy, which would be that would be unprecedented. So anyway.
Well, okay. But real quick before we move on, do we have to put an asterisk next to it if he hits it?
Which one? Oh, because of the size of the bags and all that stuff?
No. Because of the limited number of pickoff moves.
That's fair. That's fair. Maybe.
It's just a thought. I don't really care either way. I was just like, I don't know how people feel about it.
I couldn't throw him out. He looked plenty fast to me.
He's so good. He's also batting .330. Like
he's an unbelievable player. He's one of those guys who's just fun to watch.
What were you gonna say, Drew?
Oh, I was saying I'm still mad that it wasn't a 40-40 single season question. I was like, I know all four of these guys.
I know, me too.
Dude, would I do that?
It's a David game.
I know it's a David game. I gotta do a little bit of bait and switch here. All right. Question number 2. Category is good. We all know that in 2000, Tom Brady was the 199th pick of the draft. In that draft, there were only 2 quarterbacks taken before him that won at least 5 games as a starting quarterback in the NFL. And both came from schools in the same state, which, by the way, is the 39th most populous state in the U.S. I want you to name both quarterbacks.
This stupid list, Giovanni Carmazza list. That's what this list is called.
It's
the
like
Giovanni
the first
Carmazza
name that always
list.
pops up.
It's the Giovanni Carmazza list. That's what this is.
I'm sorry, just realized why you said that. Of course,
and I can say that because he is not one of the answers. So,
David, we are going to check in.
All right, the look of the lion has checked in. Kobe and Jimmer, you have about a minute and a half to come up with some answers.
I'm gonna. This is ridiculous, but I'm trying to think about the 39th most populous U.S. state.
Sure. Just start naming football teams and their quarterbacks in the early 2000s. So one's Mark Bulger for sure. Mark Bulger is one of the answers. I know that. I don't know where he went to college, so that's not helping.
Yeah, I thought it was like a big
find
time
the same state.
Pac-10 school, and I cannot, for the life of me, I do not think it was like a Big 12.
So who are some teams and their quarterbacks in the early 2000s? Everybody I'm thinking of is like a few years after this, like Kyle Bowler and guys like that.
I'm thinking like Midwest state, like a state like Iowa. So was there a quarterback from like Iowa State? Those 2 schools I'm thinking about in there.
Don't know.
Indiana, Purdue.
Josh, it's probably like Kentucky or something like that. So I just don't know if that's gonna.
I mean, 2 schools in Kentucky that you would have.
I mean, there's Louisville and there's Kentucky.
What about like Oklahoma and Oklahoma State? Where would he have played maybe at one of those schools? And like, who would have come out of Oklahoma or something like that? That would have been in the NFL.
I don't know.
2000.
Oh wait, is Chris Weinke the 2000 draft?
Okay, so he's Florida State. So then where would
Bulger? I mean, there's a lot of schools in Florida, so I'm just thinking like
it's true.
Is Weinke 2000? I feel like he is. Let's do that.
Go for it, because we got nothing else. I think we got to go with that. So
right, we're gonna
and Bulger.
Yeah, we're gonna check in with Chris Weinke and Mark Bulger for 80 points.
Okay, and look at the line. What you guys have?
Yeah, Marcus was awesome. He threw out Mark Bulger right away, and I was like, love the name. Where did he go to school? He told me West Virginia. So I was like, I think Chad Pennington went to Marshall. And Marshall
definitely Pennington.
West Virginia, so we went it with Pennington and Bulger.
For 100 points.
Oof.
One team is receiving that 100 points. And yeah, it could not have possibly been Chris Weinke anyway, because I think he was 2001. But more importantly, Florida is definitely not in the 38th, 39th, 40th population. Right. But anyway, yes, the correct answer is Chad Pennington and Mark Bulger from Marshall and West Virginia, respectively. Bulger was his career record was 41-54. No, sorry, that's Bulger was 41-54. Pennington was 46-41. So anyway, we will move on.
China Doll Chad.
Why did I can't believe I forgot about Chad Pennington.
Me too.
I was scrambling because I'm just telling Drew, I'm like, this is the worst part. I don't want to leave them with a ton of time. Because I left you guys with basically a minute last time and you talked your way into it. And I was like, all right, let's hold on to this. Because I totally forgot. Hey, Scott, don't feel bad. Drew was the one who came through with that. Because I was like, I know Mark Bulger and I know he went to West Virginia. How did we forget
the guy that went in the first round?
The guy who, when he retired, was the most accurate passer in NFL history. I have no idea why I didn't remember Chad.
We got the
third round. We had to know the college.
Yep. That was a great pull.
All right. Yeah, well done. Really well done. I forgot that Marcus is kind of a sneaky West Virginia fan, aren't you? You kind of have this West Virginia. I've heard you ask questions about West Virginia in the past.
I mean, I like West Virginia.
I just love West Virginia. Yeah, when West Virginia was good, it sucks that they're bad at football. I feel like college football, that's a sneaky team where it's better when West Virginia is good.
Yeah,
agreed.
Get Rich Rod back in there.
Well, they're also losing Bob Huggins.
That's true.
Right. Well,
he's losing himself.
He had some Justin Blackman-esque blood alcohol level, which is absurd.
Saying something,
especially for his age.
Yeah, that's very true. Question 3. Category is fair. In 2015, which former NBA All-Star was banned from the Orange County Fair in California for winning too many prizes in the basketball hoops game? At least it wasn't the shoot the star game.
David, we're gonna check in.
All right, Marcus. The look of the lion has checked in. Kobe and Jimmer, I need an answer in about 10 seconds.
We literally have nothing, not a single thing. Here's my only, and so I think maybe a California team, because this is in California, right? So then Lakers, Clippers, Warriors, Kings. I can think of one guy that played for 3 out of those 4 teams. He's a former All-Star, and his name is Mitch Richmond, and that's all I've got because he played for the Lakers, the Kings, and the Warriors.
Did he?
So-
Was there like a team like the Shooting Stars or something like that?
I don't know.
Or just somebody who's okay. Mitch Richmond's a pretty good one though.
I literally have. I mean, it's not, but like I have nothing to go off of
Okay,
on this question.
but you're checking in with Mitch Richmond.
Yeah.
Sure, we are.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna lose 40 points on Mitch Richmond.
Okay, and Kobe and look at the Lions. Look at the Lion. What did you guys have?
I took the shoot as being the clue and thought of those pre-Morant with possibly some firearm issues. Marcus said no to the Elkhart, Indiana legend Sean Kemp. So we went with Gilbert Arenas.
Hold on, for 50 points.
50 points.
Oh,
One team will be receiving points. Yes, yes. The clue was the shoot the star game, and yes, the answer is Gilbert Arenas. All about the shooting. It was all about Gilbert Arenas with firearms issues.
And then
yes.
And then the part that I was laughing so hard is because he's like, who is in trouble with firearms? Or he said Arenas because he was thinking of that. And I was like, I don't know why it would be Gilbert Arenas. And then he goes, who was in trouble with firearms pre-Morant? And I was like, Gilbert Arenas. And then he said Javaris Crittenden. And I was like, yeah, they were going to shoot each other in the locker room.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That's why I was dying because
You know what? He played for the Lakers.
He sure did.
All right. We have come to our final question. It is very simple and not much of a David question. Question 4. Category is bad. What NFL team has won the fewest division titles since the AFL-NFL merger?
No,
We can check in.
All right. Kobe and Jimmer have checked in. The look of the lion. You have 2 minutes.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to defer to you on this one. This is definitely more your edge than mine. But I was thinking about even newer franchises just haven't had a whole lot of time to rack up wins, like Jacksonville or the Texans, both, newer franchise in the grand scheme of it and in the same division. So if one were to win, it'd block the other ones.
Yeah. And the thing is too, we're thinking of, it could be a team that's good, but just gets into the wild card every year. It doesn't necessarily have to be a team that's just straight up bad.
Because the Bengals were that way with
titles.
Because the Cincinnati Bengals were that way for a long time, with the Steelers kind of just dominating it.
Yeah, but they had that run in the late 80s.
Yeah, that's the only
the
thing that's
Steelers weren't great.
Is moving from the Anderson to the Boomer seasons.
Yeah, because I'm thinking of somebody like New Orleans, because despite the fact that they were good the whole time that Breeze was there, like they had Carolina with Cam Newton had a few years where they were really good.
And Jake Delhomme back in the day too. They still went to a couple bowls there too.
They could be one. And like I said, Arizona and Detroit. Here's a sneaky one that I'm like upset about a little bit. I'm trying to think of how many division titles the Seahawks have won, because they've been a wild card team a lot.
They're just in a really tough division too. So that's kind of my next thought process was, if it's not new, it's probably someone who's just, even if they go 8-7 or 8-8, 8-9 now, that's still getting boxed out by.
Yeah, because like you said, the Cardinals have had a couple of years where they were good. And then Detroit, they've been bad. I don't know. I kind of like the Saints. I don't know why. But I don't know. Yeah. It just doesn't seem like that. Doesn't seem like it.
They were known for losing for so long. And then
long.
And then again, like you said, that the Panthers boxed them out a couple of times.
All right,
they were boxed out by the Falcons a few times.
I need a consensus and an answer.
Do you want to
I
just
think
say
we
the
wrote the
Saints?
Saints. Yeah, I think we
call it?
wrote the Saints.
Okay, we'll check in with the New Orleans Saints for 80 points.
Okay. And Kobe and Jimmer.
Yeah, we were talking about a couple different teams. We talked about the Lions as a possibility, getting blocked out by the Packers, Vikings, and Bears. But ultimately, we settled on the Cardinals, thinking, they're originally NFC East, pretty top-heavy division. And then in the NFC West, which is a pretty tough division, I think the year they went to the Super Bowl, they were a wild card. So we ended up going with the Chicago, St. Louis, Phoenix, Arizona Cardinals franchise.
For 75.
Fair enough. Neither team is actually receiving points. The correct answer was surprising to me when I saw this stat, and so I had to work it into a question. The correct answer, with only 2 division titles since the merger, is the Jets. Jets.
Oh,
that's
Drew.
That was
right.
the first name.
It's the first thing he said. Oh, man.
So
That
the bottom
that actually makes sense.
The bottom of the list looks like Jets are at 2, the Lions are at 3, Jaguars are at 4. Of course, they haven't had as long to do it. The Cardinals are at 5. So you guys were at least in the ballpark. Then we got a mess of teams at 6. I think the Panthers, the Falcons, the Texans, maybe even the Browns. The Saints were something like 11 or something, because I think they've been in a pretty crappy division for a long time.
I guess those teams in the that had that set of linebackers in the 90s, they were actually okay. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. That does make sense though too, because the Jets get in. They've gotten in as a wild.
I sort of
As a
thought
wild
of that when you're going through the AFC. I'm like, did the Jets? But I'm like, no, because
I know.
I'm like, no.
I was thinking of
Decent.
the Rex Ryan teams, but that probably was a wild card team. With
They
the
were wild
Patriots.
cards. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Because the Bengals lost back-to-back wild cards against the Jets when they were both wild card teams with Marvin Lewis.
Yeah. All right. Well, our game has sadly come to an end, and here are the final scores. Kobe and Jimmer finished with a respectable, well, kind of the wheels came off a little bit there, but 170 points. But our clipboard captains of the game, who are receiving the coveted Jacoby Brissett Award with 500 points, is the Look of the Lion. So
Hey, there we go.
Drew and Josh, well done. Thank you both for coming. I want to give you guys both a chance to say whatever you want. Let's have, I guess in trivia tradition, we'll let Josh go first, since he's part of the wheels coming off. Josh, what have you got to say?
Came off.
Now the wheels came off. I had nothing to say.
Questions.
No, great game, David. Definitely very cerebral in trying to think about how all those various components fit together. A lot of fun. I've been listening to you guys for a while and really enjoyed just getting on. And my kids wanted me to say hi. They listened to you guys in the car and they think you're funny. So, that's great. And my wife was like, yeah, go play the game. So, shout out to my family.
That's awesome. All right. Hey to Josh's kids. We'll get to Drew's
I'm gonna
daughter
say
in a
something.
minute. But no, you're not allowed. You're not
No,
allowed.
I am, because we have a
jeez.
brand new guest. And
All right.
I just want to say, honestly, to both of you, so this was last minute for both of our guests here. So we're scrambling to get players, and we reached out on Patreon, and both of you responded within minutes and were available. So honestly, thank you for both of you, because we likely wouldn't have had a recording tonight otherwise. And I also just want to say to Josh real quick that, this doesn't really count because you didn't get wheelhouses. So the good thing is with this loss is next time you'll get Eid and you'll get wheelhouse questions. So it will get better, I promise.
The problem is that we have to endure Seahawks questions with Marcus on the other side, potentially.
That's not my problem. That would be good for me.
That's probably true. All right, Drew, share some wisdom before we go.
Oh, Lord, wisdom. That's a tough one. No, I've been listening to you guys for a while. Kind of reading what Josh said. Just been listening for a long time. Love trivia. Love to get on. New job, new schedule allows me some more time. I just happened to see the update when you guys sent that out earlier today on Patreon. I was like, you know what? I got some time. Let's try this.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, I want to echo what Scott said. It's always great when we get people who can jump on last minute, because we just had people who were sort of falling by the wayside tonight. We just had last minute conflicts and personal conflicts. So thank you to both of you for coming on. And even more so, thank you just for being listeners and for supporting the podcast to allow us to keep doing what we're doing. It's great to have people out there who are sort of loyal listeners and want to come on and play our reindeer games. So this is a ton of fun. So I guess that only leaves me to sort of wrap us up and say, on behalf of Scott and Marcus and all the Benchwarmers, thank you for listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. And until next time, we'll keep the bench warm.
That ball hit high and deep. Stretch! Get on back there. They look up. You can put it on the board. Yes!
Into deep left center for Mitchell. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
That great music you're listening to is by Justin Nozick. Thanks to him for producing that music for us. You've been listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. Make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We are at BenchwarmersTP.